Good evening. Wagwan chat. We rocking out live tonight. Let me kill the music a little bit. Wagwan chat. Wagwan. Good evening. What's going on, y'all? We back. I'm liking this vibe. I don't even know what the song is called. Alright, let me kill this a little bit. Welcome into another episode of PYM Live. It's your boy Kelvin. What's going on, y'all? I feel like it's been like ages since I last streamed, but I don't know if anybody's on yet. I may be just rocking with myself, but that's okay. We rocking live. What's going on? Hope everybody's good. For anybody who's watching for the first time, welcome in. You know, it's good to see new faces, new places. If I'm rocking out by myself, that's okay. As I always say, you know, we will look back on these days. I will look back on these days. And what we're going to do is that we're just going to watch the cringe levels. You know what I'm saying? As I get through my reps, as a streamer, we're going to go back and look through the cringe levels of the sounds, of the music, and all that stuff. But I'm getting better. Every single time I grace the stage. I hope everybody had a great week. How was your week? How was your week been? You know what I'm saying? How was it? What was going on? Was it good? Was it bad? Was it ugly? Was it funny? Was it fun? Was it sad? Whatever it was, put your reactions in the chat. For anyone who's rocking with me, if you see this a little later, that's okay as well. Y'all can put in your comments later. But yeah, man, it's good to be back on the stage, back on the platform with you guys with the PYM Militia. I'm going to keep saying that every time I come on here, the PYM Militia. And our fight is a fight against the things that kill our light. It's just that simple, bro. That's all that is. We're fighting on things that are darkness, bad energy, bad vibes. Whatever that is, whatever it entails, whatever it means for you, that's what the PYM Militia were fighting. We fight for the lights. You know what I mean? That's what we're doing. But, yeah, man. We have not too long of a show today. Just as usual, just a 1-2 rant. I thought share some current affairs of what's going on. And then, we fly. But, hope everybody's doing well. Everybody's doing great. My week, how was my week? My week was pretty chill. I what did I end up doing this week? I don't even remember. The week just blew by. To be honest. Oh, I did get a job, so there's that. You know what I mean? When I started this channel. You know what I'm saying? I was saying that I just got laid off, and hey, God being good. You know what I mean? I've been able to secure another job in my field, so that's pretty awesome. And gonna start training tomorrow, so that's pretty cool. And then I got another part-time, so things are picking up on the job front. Other than that, I'm getting some new lights. Like I said, I will get better every single time I touch this stage. Every time I connect with you, I will get better. So I'm getting some new lights. Other than that, I'm doing some furniture stuff, in the house. So that's my update on the week. It's been a pretty great week, to be honest. I can't complain. But yeah, other than that, let's get right into it, man. Let's get it right into, what the title is about. What I wanted to talk to y'all about. And I felt like I wanted to talk about friendships in particular. Why is it that, if you're 20 plus, 21, 22, 24, 25, 28 like myself, friendships is such an interesting thing. It really is. Like, it's something that, like, it comes and it goes. And I wanted to talk about it because I feel like it's a big part of your mental. As always, the PYM show, all that it is about is talking everything on a daily basis that happens on a daily basis that affects our mental and how we can better secure it. I'm no expert, as I always say, but I'm just sharing my thoughts on it, and I hope to learn from you as well. I'm hoping that we just create a community where, we might want, one person might have a strength, I might have a strength, and you know, your strength helps my weakness, my strength helps your weakness, right? But anyway, I thought I wanted to just join in on talk a bit about for today's rant. The rant of the day basically is, you know, friendships and how that looks like. I don't know, like I wasn't the most social person in high school. I was active, you know what I mean? I was very active, and people knew me. You know what I'm saying? In high school, I used to go by the name of JT, so everybody used to call me JT. JT was like a mix on my middle name and my last name. So a lot of people, like, you know, knew me because I was a bit of a guy's guy in a way. You know what I mean? Like I, you know, a little funny here and there. I played a little bit of basketball. I was a bit of an anime head. No, I wasn't a little bit. I was a big anime head back in school. So I had that community, but I was a sports guy, and like I watch sports. So if it's basketball, if it's NBA, if it's NFL, I had that group of people that I could connect with, group of guys I connect with. Then I played basketball, so I had that group as well. And you know, I was a little bit intrigued in all kinds of random things, but at the same time, like, so I people knew me. I'll say people knew me. But then when I, you know, leaving high school, I moved to a different country, moving to Canada. Like, you know, I was still pretty social, and I got, you know, connected to a group of guys. And you know, throughout my teenage years, I had a group of guys. Through university, I had a group of guys. And as I left university, graduated university, I still have a group of guys. But it's so interesting to me that friendships and friendship dynamics, if you don't, like, it's so easy for friendship dynamics to kind of change, right? And every time, like, you get older, it's like you're always looking at your past friendships. If you can relate, I don't know if that it sounds familiar, but it's like your past friendships always feel more genuine than the current ones. You know what I mean? Like your day ones. Like we thrive on, yo, that was my day one. That was my day one homie, my day one homegirl. Like, because it's like the past relationships always feel like they were the, you know, the substantial relationships. And for anyone who, you know, you maybe you've been able to keep hold on to those relationships, and you've had, like, you know, your high school friends are still in your life, or your, you know, grade school friends are still in your life, and you have like 15, 20 year friendships, yo, more power to you. That's great. That's awesome. But for us, most people, your high school friends end after high school, or your university friends end after university. It's just, it is what it is. Now you might pick up and keep a 1-2 where, you know, you try to, you know, keep that relationship going, keep the friendship going. You try. It's based on if you're in the same city, or, you know, you try and make it a habit. Like, whatever the case may be, you keep a 1 or 2 out of, like, let's say the 10 friendships you had back in the day, right? So for most people, that's a relatable case, right? And you know, I realized that, like, me personally, and I always say, like, I never want to project onto anyone. It's always a third party perspective. Me personally, going through university and getting older and working and all that stuff, I found that, like, it wasn't that, like, the people I knew decreased, but the people I called genuine friends got slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, year by year by year by year. Can you relate to that? Like, I don't know. Like, why is it, bro, that, like, as you get older, it's like your friends just get more scarce? And then the funny thing is that, but the flip side to that is, as your friends get more scarce, you start to really look at your friendships more, you know? So I thought I wanted to talk about the dynamic of why is it so hard? Like, why is it so hard for in your 20s to form genuine connections, especially in this time? You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in this time, why is it so hard? You know, and obviously, you know, social media, you know, it is a big part of our mental makeup and what forms our everyday interactions. You would think it'd be easier, you know, because now you're not bound by geography, you're not bound by circumstance. You know, you have the internet, but I feel like it hasn't helped, you know, as much as it could. So why is that? You know, and I might not have all the answers. I'm just sharing my perspectives on it. But I thought just to talk about it and really evaluate, like, yo, for us young people and people who are older, you know, like, what is that challenging factor? And I thought I'd give my 2 cents on it to see. You know, again, back to me, like, when I was in back to my time in university, like I had one friend, like throughout my life, I've had like one friend that till this day I still call like my best friend. You know what I mean? Like my best friend. Like this man has known me since I was like maybe 13, 14. So like half of my life basically he's known me. And the funny thing is that like when I thought about it, I'm just like, okay, I don't actually talk to him like on a regs. Like I talk to him maybe like right now in a year, maybe 5 to 6 times a year max. Max maybe five. Yeah, maybe 4 to 5. We don't average more than 4 to 5 times. But I put so much stock in him as my friend that it. I don't put anyone else. If you ask me, what's my best friend, like, you know what I mean, like tiered status, it's that guy. You know what I'm saying? No, it's that guy. Like there's no debating that, right? And it's so interesting that a lot of times when people as much as I do put him in that status on my day-to-day life, he really doesn't have much access because again he's in a different country, so we don't get time. I do go back home. I'm Ghanaian, you know what I'm saying? I am Ghanaian, so when I do go back home to Ghana, it's a vibe. We chill, we hang, we do a lot of different things. I might go for 2 weeks, I might go for 3 weeks, and we hang a whole bunch of times in between. But we don't interact a lot, right? That's the point. We don't interact a lot, but I put so much stock in that past relationship or that past timeline of my childhood friend. And a lot of people who are my age and younger, it's like it's so easy to like romanticize, if that makes sense. Like you're gonna romanticize like your past friendships, or not like past friendships, but like your friendships that were created in maybe a past time. Let me not call them past friendships because they can still be active, but like your friendships that were created in your younger years. Hold on, child. I gotta open this thing for a second. Give me a second. Okay, we back. Right. So again, it's so interesting because like the friendships that we have in our younger years, like those are the ones that we romanticize. You know what I mean? Like those are the ones that we feel like, yo, that was my day one. Like I said, that was my homie, that was my homegirl, like that was my sis, bro, that was my bro, like whatever the case may be, right? So why with romanticizing it, it's like the frequency of contact decreases by far. It decreases so much as you romanticize that childhood friendship or that teenage friendship. Like your contact decreases, but the stock you put in that increases with like so much. Like you're telling maybe if you're in a relationship, or you're telling your siblings like, man, my best, if Sarah's her name, Sarah, back in the day, me and Sarah, we were homegirls, we did everything together, and you talk about it like it's a good old days. You know what I'm saying? You talk about that childhood friend like, like I remember the time with me and him, we were in so much trouble because mom said we shouldn't stay out, and we were out till 6, and I was worried and he was worried, and you know what I'm saying? Like you have so many stories, and those stories are what you like. Every now and then when it's in conversation or comes up, you bring it up like, I remember this situation with my guy, or I remember this situation with my sis, and all these different things, right? And you hold on to the value of those past relationships, those childhood friendships, to the extent that like you wonder like why, and you wonder why don't you have that now? And that's what I want to talk about. Like I don't know, have you ever been in a situation where you're like, why aren't my friendships right now like what they used to be? Like why isn't someone like, I feel like I don't have friends. It's such a common thing that people say, especially as you get to like 21, 22 and beyond. Every year your friends just drop. Your friendships level drop, and you feel like you have people and you have people who know you. But a lot of people feel like, I'm friendless. And I wanted to like really deep dig into that and what it could do, and maybe share some perspectives on like, how could that help, or what are some ways that you can kind of really battle that, friendship challenges, if you will, and in my experience, and understanding how to kind of navigate that. You know what I mean? Because I feel like if you don't navigate that like properly, why should you value or why should you keep friendships as an importance? What happens is that you become jaded, bro. I don't care. Like, if you feel, right, that you have no friends, eventually two things might happen. You might be unbothered, or you become jaded. Those are, I feel like, the only two outcomes when you say like, yo, no new friends, I'm friendless. You become jaded. And jaded, to me, jaded is like that place where you're like, you keep telling everyone you're good, but at the same time too, if someone was presented to you on a silver platter, you jump on it. But because it's not being presented to you, you feel like you can do without. That's what jaded means to me. It's like, yo, I ain't looking for no new friends, but if a genuine person who can relate to me and know about me and care about me comes my way, then guess what? I'm gonna jump on it, right? That's so it just means that you want it, but you're kind of acting like you don't. That's, to me, is jaded, right? Or unbothered. Now, unbothered people would say, and I can say that I am, I've been in this category. Unbothered people would be like, listen, I could care less whether a single soul would be my friend or not. At the end of the day, I'm doing me. I'm living my best life. I ain't got time for no, you know what I'm saying? And I generally don't care whether I have a good friend or not. Now, I'm not saying, like, if you were to compare the two, the unbothered people to me have a little bit of more mental sanity, if that makes sense, than the jaded people. But the dangers of the unbothered people, in my opinion, is that if you're unbothered, eventually I feel like you diminish the quality of life. Or you get to a point where you diminish the quality of life because you realize that your network is non-existent, let alone small. You know what I'm saying? If your only friends are your family, you're kind of boxed in terms of what you can do. You're boxed in terms of, point of view. Or if your only friends are maybe your significant other, you're kind of boxed in terms of, networking opportunities, or not necessarily from a business perspective, but just having a circle. You know what I'm saying? I believe that no matter what, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be the most grand plan or the biggest plan. You need to have a circle. Like, you know what I mean? You got to have some level of a circle so that, it's like you bring your strength, I bring my strength, your strength covers my weakness, my strength covers your weakness, and we grow. Now, don't get me wrong, that is challenging. When I say challenging, that is super challenging, of finding friends as you go to your, like, solid friends as you go through your 20s. But just because it's challenging doesn't mean you don't need it. Because a lot of times, I don't, no matter what, I don't care, the most unbothered person has something that they want to do. I believe that. They have something good that they want to do, something positive to them. You know what I'm saying? The most unbothered person has some kind of dream of objective. Now, if, like, they have something that they want to achieve, and I feel like, yes, you can get there on your own, but it's gonna take you a long ass time. And you maybe not even to the extent of having genuine friendships, but just having a good social network can be beneficial so that you can at least help progress towards a goal with someone. Whether it doesn't have to be the most deepest friendship, it doesn't have to be the most substantial friendship, but a certain level of friendship does help in the progression of your goals. Because if two like-minded individuals can bounce each other's off ideas off each other, I think it's for a benefit. They always say two heads are better than one, so why not? Like, I'm not saying life without friends is impossible. It's very possible, and a lot of people do it. I'm just saying that there is a quality of life that you kind of cap yourself out if you're unbothered. You know what I'm saying? So I'm talking to the unbothered people. Said jaded, and I'm talking about unbothered when you don't have friends going through your 20s. And with those two groups, when you don't have friends, and why you should kind of make it a priority, it's that if you don't kind of prioritize, like, or not say prioritize, but if you don't kind of put some level of emphasis on your friendships, you realize that, like, everything is always Like your communication is always to people who can't give you the real, if that makes sense, or they have too much of a stock of interest in your benefit. You know what I'm saying? Like for example, if it's a family member that is like your confidant, let's call it a confidant, right? Your family member can keep it real and 100, but a lot of times family members, when they are like genuine family members, have too much of a stake in the game. You know what I'm saying? So they might not want to see you get hurt. They might not want to see you fumble. They might not want to see you, they might want to protect you being genuine family members. You know what I'm saying? They might curtail it. They might soften the blow a little bit. But a friend and a good friend might slap you when you need to slap you. You know what I'm saying? Or might tell you what it needs to be when you're going through your 20s. Because I find that like moms, dads, as you get older, and I'm sure maybe you've experienced this, as you get older, like your parents start to be like advisors. You know what I'm saying? As you start to mature, they decide to let you go, like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to do that, you can do that. And even though they try to be advisors, they still have an embedded best interest for you when they give you advice. So I'm not saying it's not good advice. It's great advice. Parental advice can be great advice when it's quality. But you may just want a third opinion. And that third opinion is great when it's a friend, a good friend, right? But finding those good friends is so freaking hard. I say that I'm gonna say that continuously throughout this whole stream. It is so hard to find a good friend, and I'll talk about that. But the ground basis is if you lack it, your communication options are kind of skewed if it's only your family who has a really good interest in you, or maybe a neutral party. You know what I'm saying? Having some level of not the highest level of attachment and not the lowest level of attachment to your conversation is a friend. Neutral parties don't care. High family have the highest part attachment. You know what I mean? So having that middle ground is kind of key, right? So boom, why is it so hard? One, the reason why I feel like it's so hard is because you're maturing. And I'll stop right there. As you go through your 20s, you are going through such a dramatic and explosive period of maturity, like day by day. Because if you can ask yourself, like for me, who I was at 20 was not what was at 21 or 22. Damn, for sure not 28. Every year is it's crazy. As much as you go through a high growth phase, I feel in your teen years and the ending of your teen years, you go through a high maturity phase in your 20s. That is just facts. Because from 20 to 28, the world is throwing all kinds of things at you. Your priorities are changing. Your expectations are changing. Your opinions are changing. Your conversations are changing. There's so many aspects of maybe your financial status is changing. There's so many aspects of your life that changes rapidly year by year by year through your 20s. So when you're maturing fast, what happens is that as you're maturing so fast, you find that maybe the things that interest you when you're 20 don't interest you when you're 21, right? So what happens is that if the people in your circle don't necessarily mature with you, and they may not necessarily be friends, but if your area of contact, be maybe, I don't know if it's your Discord group, if it's your you know what I'm saying, your party chat, if it's your whatever, it's your school, your friends, your basketball team, your athletic, whatever group you find yourself in through your 20s, your work friends, it's as you keep changing, if they don't match your rate of change, what happens is you feel like, yo, y'all are not matching what I'm saying, so the conversations are running dry. And that's so easy as a perspective to think that because you're changing, you feel like your perception is your friends are staying the same, right? And that's one thing. And I'll talk about, you know what? Let me take them one at a time. I thought maybe I'll just rush through it, but nah, I'm not gonna do that, right? So you say, okay, my perspectives are changing, right? And then because my perspectives are changing, my friends are saying the same. But what I would say to contest that is, it is not always about you. And I say that again. It is not always about you, right? So when you're in your 20s, it is so easy to think that the world is you and your life, right? Now, when you do think like that, what happens is that you may not be able to catch the subtle changes of the people around you who are your current friends. So because you're not seeing the way they're changing, you think that there's no change because you're so enraptured in what's just going on in your life that you feel like you don't see any changes in their life. Now, granted, it may be situations that they're not changing. I give you that. There may be situations where they're actually stagnant and they are being the same. But it doesn't mean that just because the last picture of them that you saw is the same picture you saw like today, doesn't mean they're not changing. It just means that they're not changing in the same way you're changing. Because I believe no matter what, no matter how people want to stay and die, and like people love their 20s so much because like, yo, I'm going to live my best life. I'm going to do me. Whether you want to or not, you're forced to change in your 20s. You're forced, right? So even if you say like, yo, I'm gonna be that party boy, I'm gonna be that city boy, I'm outside. Even if you stay like that for all your 20s, you yourself will agree that even if your vibe is the exact same throughout your 20s, you realize that things are changing around you. You know what I'm saying? Your conversations are changing around you, and those conversations changing around you force you to change, right? So back to the point. When you realize, yo, that everything is changing, like I'm changing, my friends are not. It's not that they're not changing. It's just that they may not be changing in the way you're changing. And because the changes don't match up, and everybody in their 20s it's like everyone's being self-centered in a way that it's easy to think that because you don't see a change in them or a change that matches your change, you think they're staying the same, and you kind of break distance, right? So that's one reason why it becomes so hard. It's because you're changing, and if the person doesn't match your change or the way at which you're changing, you feel like they're still the same. You might kind of distance them, right? That's one thing. Two, we in our 20s, like we love to talk about our future state, right? So what happens is that we will sometimes have a selfish, unconscious thing where we kind of want our friends to have the future state that we're pursuing. You know what I'm saying? If you're maybe trying to get fit, you want your friends to be at the fitness level you're pursuing. You see what I'm saying? And if they're not at the fitness level you're pursuing, you think they're just unhealthy. So their wave can't match your wave, but you're projecting. It's easy to project your future state of what you want them to, where you're trying to get to. You're trying to project it on your friends, and if you don't see that projected state, you say, yo, peace, right? So I was very guilty of doing that with a few people, right? And it took me a while to kind of have that self-awareness that I can't project my future goals on someone else, and if they don't have those future goals, they can't be my friend. I can only control what I control, right? So that's second reason why. And I combat that by saying that it's in your 20s, if you know you're changing, and you can agree that you're changing so much in your 20s, the best thing you can do is when you realize that you're changing and you accept that you're changing so much in your 20s, is acknowledge that, listen, my change is my change, someone else's change is their change, right? My friends change, or my current acquaintances change is their change. And as they're changing, I can pick and choose how to connect with them if they are worth my connection. You see what I'm saying? If they're worth my connection. You know what I'm like? And that is not based on the changes. That is based on their traits. You see what I'm saying? It's the traits that like you kind of have to measure and assess whether you want to kind of stay with. If the traits have proven to be, you know, positive traits that you value, maybe it's a loyalty, maybe it's respectful, maybe it's charismatic, maybe it's adventurous, maybe it's honest, maybe it's funny, whatever the positive traits that you hope to associate, genuine, whatever traits you hope to associate with what you consider a good friend. If they have those traits but they're going through changes, assess the changes. And if the changes are like, yo, the person is changing for the worse for my life, then you can dip, right? But it's that you gotta acknowledge that they're changing. It's not that they're staying the same. It's not. I don't want to believe that everybody in their 20s is changing, right? So that's the second thing. Third thing being like, yo, when you're going through your 20s, you need to understand that, like, people, how do I say this? You need to understand that, like, people who are with you don't have to be with you for life. You know what I'm saying? The acquaintances you make in your 20s don't, or even in your teens, don't have to be with you for life, right? It's like, I feel like it's a difficult, expectation to set on someone to be with you for life, because you don't know where their life is going to end up, right? And you don't know where your life is going to end up, right? So it's unrealistic to expect that, like, yo, every, like, friend that, or someone who, you know um who you connect with, or you vibe with, or the frequencies match, you expect them, because the frequencies match in the moment, you expect their frequencies to stay the same, because I just said you're always changing throughout your 20s. You're changing literally at per second, per second, per second. But I guarantee you, if you were a thought in your 20s, you know what I'm saying? You might be a thought in your 30s. And this is a vulgar explanation example. You might be a thought in your 30s, but it's harder to be a thought in your 30s, because you've changed so much. You've seen so much. You've been exposed to so much. So to stay the same is even hard. It's hard, because you saw so much and experienced so much through those 10 years that it's hard to stay the same. So the version of thottery even changes. You know what I mean? It changes because it's hard, right? So to expect that someone who, if you recognize you're changing, to expect that someone to match your frequencies for life is a hard expectation to meet. Right now, I'm going to talk a little bit about why you romanticize that childhood friend. Think about it, right? You're in, for the first, like, 18 years of your life, no matter the city you're in, you are forced to go through something called the education system. Right now, the education system, elementary education system, forces you to go to kindergarten, then elementary school, then middle school, then high school. Right now, some of you, my stomach is going crazy. Some of you, it may be that, you stay in the same city, same town, same crew, and you built your friendship. You found your friend in grade 3, and y'all rocked all the way to senior year. For some people, you moved around a little bit. You may have moved 2, 3, 4 times before the time you were in your senior year. You went to like 4 or 5 different schools, depending on what your parents or what your guardians set up for you, or what opportunities came your way. You move city to city. And for some people, like, they change schools like every year or every semester, depending on, like, their family situation, right? But the thing is that period is, because of the force, like I said, forced, and it sucks for some people who, like, I was cool at school, but Saleh school is just one of those things that you just do, right? Going through it, right, it's such a unique circumstance, because when you think about, like, the length of your life, there is nothing else that kind of forces you to stay in the same location more than school. Because no matter what, if you're in grade 5, you gotta go to grade 6. If you're in grade 7, you gotta go to grade 8. If you're a senior, a freshman, you gotta be a sophomore. Like, you can't end unless you dip. The only option is to continue or dip, right? So what happens is that those forced situations of school forces people to stay in the same place for a set amount of time, right? But except for like I said, the minority that may have to move around because of their family life. Most stayed in the same town, go to this town, high school, then they're done, right? So what happens is that the odds are, just being forced to go to school, right, keeps you in a certain set of circumstances that happen with school. Everybody may go through puberty, right? That's a certain set of circumstance. Most schools may have athletics. That's a set of circumstances. Most schools will have multiple subjects. That's a set of circumstances. Most schools will have different extracurricular activities. That's a set of circumstances. And because of the, like, similarity of circumstances, big English I'm using today, big English, you know what I mean? Because of the similarity of circumstances, odds are how you're changing throughout your school life is matched with how your best friend is changing, right? So already y'all are doing step by step by step by step together. But everything changes when you get, like, if you go to university. And if you don't, it even changes way more, right? When you school, it's like you progress together. But university, there's 100 different programs. Some people are part-time. Some people have class in the day. Some people have class at night. Some people have class on just the weekends. Like, it's so different when you go to university, and then when you don't, some people go to work. Some people don't. Some people like chill. Some people leave the city. Some people do a whole bunch of things, right? So it changes by a lot, right? So already going through going through high school, your rate of change is the same. So odds are your friend or your best friend actually romanticize that that friendship so much, they're changing probably at the same rate you're changing. Now, family life can be a big underlying factor to that. Sometimes family life can be rough. Sometimes family life can be crazy. Sometimes family life can be a big. Some family life are stable. Some family life, they're going through positive or negative circumstances. So that's really a huge underlying factor in how the person develops, right? But I'm just using the concepts of school. If both family life and environment and community life is the exact same, odds are y'all are growing together in the same way, right? So there's relatability built right there and then. They're like, yo, this person really gets me. You know what I'm saying? They get me. They match my vibe. They match my frequency. You know what I mean? It's built in just by the nature of school. And then on top of that, why you romanticize that relationship is that you will never have as much free time as you do in high school. Even university, you don't have that much free time. In high school, once you're done school, if you're a school athlete, great. Like, you may have a part-time job, like whatever the case may be, but you still have so much time. And because of that time, you know what happens? You find time. You find time to hang with your best friend in high school. Y'all hang together. Y'all might talk. If it's virtual, y'all might play video games together. If it's y'all, if y'all on the same team, y'all might ball out together. Y'all might do a lot of things together, right? So that's a easy element. No matter what, if you put two people in a room long enough, they're bound to start talking. You know what I'm saying? So imagine that this concept of school has kept you in, even if it's just high school from grade 9 to grade 12, which is 4 years, and they keep you in the same building for 12 years and you meet every single day, the odds are, and you have that, like I said, y'all have just basic level similarities, that becomes your best friend instantly. You know what I'm saying? Instantly. Right? And then on the third, that's the second reason why you romanticize that friendship. Right? And then the third reason why you romanticize that friendship is that I believe, me personally, right, you're never more free than when you were a teen. You know what I mean? Like, because everybody says this. When you were 16, you swear you had all the facts, bro. And if there's anybody 16 years old who see this, I'm not taking shots. But when you were 16, you swear you were the most knowledgeable 16-year-old in the world. And then when you're 20, by the time you're like 20, you just tell yourself, what the heck? Who the heck did I was clueless. You know what I'm saying? I was completely clueless. I was a joke. But when you're 16, you feel like you know everything, right? And then by the time you're 20 and then you turn like 25, you're like, yo, 20-year-old me was lost. It was a lost child out here. You know what I'm saying? But 16, you're, as much as we recognize those differences of state, as a teenager, you just don't care. So you're free. You're kind of free, unless, like I said, there's underlying family situations, right? But you're free. You're kind of more open with your friends, You know what I'm saying? Not with everyone else, but you're open with your friends. You're free to share with your friends. You're free to confide in your friends. If you go broken heart, you will call your girlfriend and be like, "Yo, this, yo, Tyler, he sent me a message. Yo, do you do you want to go out with me? Yes or no?" And now he's taking Sarah out. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's a guy friend, yo, I was trying to ask her to prom, and she said she might consider it. When I came and pick her up, she was already gone with Jake. You know what I'm saying? Or Eric or Derek or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And you just rant. Like, you just rant to your friends. You know what I mean? Like, yo, how could she do me like that, bro? How could she do me like that? I bought her a teddy bear on freaking Valentine's Day, and she took it and put it in her locker and didn't say nothing else to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, you go through that, and you think it's like, you take it as such a serious situation. A serious situation. Like, you take it and you rant. But you know what happens when you rant, when you explain the guy, like the boy you're crushing on, you know, like, yo, snaked you, or the girl you were trying to talk to the freaking 6 foot varsity when you were like 4 foot, 5 foot. She talks to 6 foot varsity senior when you were a freshman. You know what I'm saying? You were trying to talk to her, and you know what I'm saying, because your puberty and your deep voice hadn't come in yet. You know what I'm saying? She curbed you. You know what I'm saying? You have to take your tears. You know what I'm saying? You cry to your homies. You know what I'm saying? You put your effort in. I'll give y'all a story. I'll give y'all a story. This is my high school story. Yo, like, so Valentine's Day, right? Valentine's Day. I told, like, my best friend in high school. He's heard me say this story maybe like 10,000 times. Valentine's Day, right? When I say Valentine's Day, it was a Valentine's Day setting, right? The Valentine's Day, I said, you know what? I have a crush. This crush, I'm going to do something nice for her, because she was talking to one of the guys in my class. She was in a different class. She was talking to one of the guys in my class, right? And because she was talking to one of my, I knew that guy was like done with her type of situation. You know what I mean? He was kind of like not feeling her. And I said, I'm not, this is like, you were 13, 14, so it's all innocent puppy love type situations, right? So he was like, nah, whatever. So I was like, you know what? This is my chance. Valentine's Day happened to be on, like, I think a Friday that year. So I'm like, this is my chance. I'm going to make it happen. And you know what I mean? I wasn't, my in like grade 7, grade 8, my puberty, you know what I'm saying? It took a while. So I'm like, see, you know, there's that age where all the girls are taller than you, and you just, it's you know what I'm saying? The confidence is not confidence, right? So I said, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to buy her a Valentine's Day gift, right? The Valentine's Day gift, I'm going to put teddy bear. I'm going to put like a little rose, a little chocolate in that red bag, and I'm going to give it to her. But when I give it to her, I'm going to sing her a song. Bro, I'm going to sing her a song. And at that time, and I already said this shows my age. At that time, Beyonce's song came out. If I were a boy, away, that song. I forgot the lyrics of the song. Yeah, but I'm not a boy. Whatever, that Beyonce song came out, right? So I said, you know what? I'm gonna take this song and I'm gonna remix it, right? I'm gonna remix the song, bro. I remixed the song, and I spent like the whole, like, maybe the Valentine's Day was on a Friday night, right? So I spent me like from Wednesday research. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna write lyrics to the song. And mind you, like, as a religious song. So I remember I sit down, like, yo, how am I gonna do it? And I remixed the song. Charlie, I remixed the song. What did I remix the song to? I called it "If You Were My Girl." Oh man, I said, if you were my girl, oh well, I will give you the world. What? Oh well. Show you all the finer things. Buy you diamonds, something, and pearls. Charlie, I had the 10 busting. And she was like, feeling. So I practiced, I performed, you know what I'm saying? I rehearsed. Friday comes. I give it a gift. I take the instrumental back in the day, flip phone. I take the instrumental. I have my boy Bluetooth me the instrumental. Back in the days of Bluetooth was the way. Bluetooth the instrumental, and then I had it on my phone, played it, sang the song for her right in front of class. She's blushing. Oh my God! Da, 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 da. She said she took it. She said she'll call me tonight. You know what I'm saying? And we'll talk. And I'm amped, bro. I'm amped. Right? I wait Friday. No call. No call. Sorry. No call at all. Saturday, no call. Oh my God. And I don't want to be the one to reach out to her because she told me she was going to call me. Sunday, no call. So I bodied the, like I say, I bodied the pain. I bodied the pain. You know what I'm saying? I bodied it. I held it. Man stuff. And I'll talk about all that, bodying the pain, being a man stuff. We'll talk about another time. I bodied the pain, right? When I bodied the pain, Monday comes. Can you imagine? I see her with the same guy she's now talking with a guy who what's it called? Bounced her and put her to the side. She's now walking hand in hand, arm in arm. This is grade 8. She's holding his arm, walking to class. I said, wow. Right there and then. Right there and then, I learned a valuable lesson. You know what I'm saying? Just, if there's a breakup going on, don't shoot shots. Just let them be. If it's meant to be, it's meant to be. Don't go involve yourself in such gimmicks. So that night, bro, when I say I wasn't crying, right? But I was internally like in tears. And my best friend, I ranted to him like, how could she do me like that, bro? How could she really do me like that? Look at the money I spent. I took my own allowance. I bought a teddy bear. I bought chocolates. I put 2 days. I ranted. When I say I rant, I don't got the hiccups. When I say I ranted, bro, I ranted. Like, I poured, like, he was like, I remember that call. It was like 2, 3 in the morning, right? And he was like, bro, it is what it is. I feel you. And I was like 14, right, with my man, Derek. I was 14. But again, I was free to talk about it. Now that I shared with him a pain. I shared with him, like, what was going on. Now, and that was when I was maybe 14. Flash forward, is that what it is? Fast forward in my 20s. If anything, when I was still talking to, like, when I was still single, if anything was to happen, do you think I'm gonna tell my boys? I'll just body it because I don't want to look like, you know what I'm saying? Even if I was curved, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm just like, yeah, it didn't work out. But I won't go into details. I won't go into the specifics of how I feel. I won't go into the specifics of, because it's like, as you get older, back to the point, we tend to share less as we get older, right? With our acquaintances. So we don't open up as much. And then because we may not open up as much, whether through, being reserved, whether not trusting the person you're talking with, whether, just from past experiences of being hurt, because you don't open up, you don't get that same level of connection, right? So it's like how do we rather expect for our friendships to be more genuine when we already have such a hard time sharing in our 20s as we did in our teens? When you were a girl in your teens, if your guy broke your heart, your best friend knew. In your 20s, when a guy breaks your heart, you're suspecting your best friend. You know what I'm saying? As maybe she's the reason why. Like, it just happens. If you're a guy and you know what I'm saying, a girl broke your heart, your best friend knew in your teens. But in your 20s, a girl broke your heart, you gotta be a savage out here. So you show no weakness. In fact, it's to spite her. If she breaks your heart on Friday, you want to get a new girl on Sunday just to spite her. Likewise, if a guy breaks your heart, you want to try and get a rebound on Friday. You want to try and get a rebound by Saturday to show him that, hey, haha, I'm wanted. I'm a commodity out here. Meanwhile, you're still nursing a broken heart. Try sleeping with the broken heart. That's what Keys once said. I'm having fun. Y'all. No shots. No shit. Again, PYM. Third party perspective. You know what I mean? Third party perspective. That's all we do over here. But again, the sharing is not the same. Right? The sharing is not the same. The sharing isn't the same. So if the sharing is not the same, how can the quality of friendships be the same? Right? So one, you know what I mean? You're changing throughout your 20s, right? And two, because you realize you're changing, you might not, and you're so focused on your change, you might have the false perception that The people around you aren't changing, but they are changing, just changing differently. You know what I mean? Two, in your teens, you were forced to certain circumstances where you're because y'all are in the same school system. Odds are you might be going at the same rate of change, so that creates easier chance of becoming good friends with someone. And three, you probably shared more in your teens than you did when you're older, right? So those are hard circumstances, and I'm not taking shots or shade at those circumstances, but those are hard circumstances to work with in your 20s, and then kind of fit friendships. So the reason why it's so hard through your 20s is because it's as you're changing and as things are changing around you, the odds are you may not be as willing to give the same level of resources you gave as a teen as when you were 20 or your 20s, because you feel like they're more valuable, right? So I say all that to say, I say all this to say that it's a perspective thing, right? You can't expect a quality of friendship of your teen years when you can't give your teen years time or your teen years effort. Are you really willing to give a situation where you giving 8 hours to a person to kind of engage and interact and go through life together? Odds are you won't. Are you really willing to kind of take the time to connect with someone as you're going through changes? Odds are you really won't. And are you willing to open up with another person as much as you did about when you go through the highs, the lows, the funnies, the sides, the different emotions that you go through in life? Odds are you probably won't. So it's unrealistic in a way to kind of expect that someone could match the quality of friendships of your teenage years when the conditions were so unique to the time, right? So it's like, why, and I'll talk about how to kind of navigate friendships in a different time, but I just wanted to bring light, in my opinion, why I think friendships in your 20s can be so hard, because it's a high expectation to put on people. It's a high expectation that people will be in that, and people will have that level of commitment to you, because again, it is not always about you. I'm gonna say that all the time. It is not always about you. It's so easy to make things about you, but in friendships, the quality of friend that you receive is really determined by the quality of friendships you give out, in my opinion, right? Because even if the person you meet is a saint, right, and you are a devil to the person, odds are they're just gonna leave. Right? They're just gonna dip, right? So the quality of friendship you receive is really based on the quality of friendships you give. Now, and I always like to think of the counter to that. If you give out a quality friendship and the person chooses to betray that quality of friendship, that is a whole different circumstance. That person chose to let evil take care of them. You know what I'm saying? That person chose to let evil mess up their circumstances and give away the quality of friendship that you were giving out, right? And it may hurt, but it's that if it jades the quality of friendships you give out for your next potential friend, then it's not the same, no matter how unrealistic it is, because you're saying how it's not the same level of friendship. If you give out 10 out of 10 of yourself in your first friendship and that person chose to jade it, and you say, you know what, now I'm only giving out 7, no matter what the consequence, the reasons why, you're still giving out a 7 out of 10 friendship. So it's like, you can't give out a 7 out of 10 friendship just because you were jaded the first time and then expect a 10 out of 10 friendship back. It's not gonna work. You get what I'm saying? Because it's like, if you were someone new, you wouldn't want someone to give you a 7 out of 10 friendship when you're giving 10 out of 10, right? It's like, bro, but I feel, because that's when you feel like it's unbalanced. Remember I said that thing about value versus care? The moment the friendship is unbalanced, you feel like, yo, I'm giving too much or I'm doing too much, so this person's not valuing what I'm doing, and I'm doing the most, so why am I being friends with this person, right? So vice versa, if you give out 10 out of 10, you were jaded, then you decide, I'm jaded, I'm only giving out 7 out of 10s, then you should expect a 7 out of 10 back. You can't, it's not realistic, right? So being all to say, your friendships in your 20s are hard as hell. They are hard. Don't get me twisted. There is no one set formula, right? I'll talk about little things that have helped me in building my friendships, like expectations and understanding acquaintances, friends, best friends, like understanding the levels of friendship. For me, that's how I said it, and little things like that. I'll talk about that more in depth at a different time, but it is hard. But look at the perspective. All I'm saying is look at the perspectives. Like, as much as we love to romanticize our friendships in our teens, it's just to say that, like, there's a reason why they were so good, and we won't get those circumstances again. So because we won't get those circumstances again, don't expect it, friendships of that deep level. It's hard. That's why when high school ends, odds are the friendships fail because you're no longer in those circumstances that made it work, right? So all to say, man, it's unfortunate, a little bit of tough news to swallow, but hey, I'm just helping make sure that you don't lose your mind because you feel like you don't have friends. You know what I mean? But anyway, moving on. That's my rant. My rant for the day. It's a bit of a long one. I didn't expect to talk this long. Just again, subscribe. If you're seeing my face for the first time, subscribe. As I always say, subscribe. But this is the PYM Live Show. We just talk about different things around mental health, mental energies, and how to build it. But other than that, if I'm rocking with myself, that's all good. We'll see this later. Y'all see this when I upload it. But yeah, okay. Just a little bit of 1-2 news, and then we gonna get out of here because I've been rocking for. I said I wanted to, not what's the word, not be here for too long. But yeah, I was going through the week, and I saw that what's it called, like Twitter, for y'all, I'm sure you know by now, Elon Musk, big headed Elon, big change Elon, big alien Elon, as I call him. He decided, like, since he bought Twitter, he decided that he's going to do a Twitter verification system. If you don't know, basically, he's since he bought it, first of all, he laid off a whole bunch of people, laid off like half of the work staff. Then after he laid them off, he started making all kinds of crazy changes. The first change he said is that, listen, anybody who has a blue check, I'ma need a check. Basically, if you have a blue check by your name on Twitter, I'ma need a check. I need my subscription. At first, he was trying to do it $20, and then he decided to do it $8.99 or something like that. I think $7.99, whatever the case may be. And I thought I wanted to talk about that because I feel like I found that really interesting. Let me see if I can pull up the hold on, chat. Let me see if I can pull up the article talking about it. Let me see. All right, let me see. Let me put it here. Let me put this there. Let's see what happens. No. Yeah, I'm gonna put it back. Put up the article. Hold on, chat. Let's see which one reactions. Boom. All right. So yeah. So Twitter has verification. I'm just gonna scroll through it. Twitter has verification. Whatever. Thing where how much is it that they said? Who already? Okay, he's talking about Boom. All right. So at first he was saying he wanted to do for $20, right? And now he's saying $8, right? $8 a month. So basically $8 a month for anybody who's verified, right? And like I think they said, okay, all right, as of right now, before Elon Musk touched it, there was about almost 500,000 verified users, which is kind of I in my opinion, like I said, I'm not on Twitter, but I like to check Twitter for like my sports commentary guys like Pat McAfee, Skip Bayless. He's a troll, but I like what he says sometimes about LeBron. He's a LeBron hater, but you know what I'm saying? I just like the way the man is consistent and, Nick Wright and all these people I watch when it comes to sports stuff. But I feel like whenever I do log on to Twitter, it's like there's so many. So when I saw there was only 500, less than 500,000 users, I'm like, that's pretty shocking to know. But anyway, why I brought it up was because I was reading this article and they talked about how Twitter verification started. It started 15 years ago, 2009, where basically anybody who had some kind of popularity or fame, so far as you can prove that whether you're a celebrity, you're a journalist, you're an influencer, whatever the case may be. If you had some kind of following and you gave some kind of valuable information to people based on your following, you get a blue check. And, Instagram has a blue check, Twitter has a blue check. Oof, sorry, chat. I don't know what's going on, but it has some wings and it's just spicy. Twitter had a blue check, and Facebook has a blue check. Everybody have a blue check, right? And the reason why I wanted to bring it up, because I'm like, it is so interesting that a lot of people when I saw that blue check started 9 years ago, right? In 2009 rather, there's so much like cachet that is put to a blue check, right? It's interesting. There's so much cachet that was put to a blue check that like when I saw that they were changing the system, like how will that affect people? Like how will it affect people's like reality of a blue check? Because like sometimes people feel like if you have a blue check, you're someone like that person is put higher or put as a higher authority or a higher figure or just a better quality experience because they have a blue check, right? And versus we the people who are the unchecked, the uncheckers, right? So when I saw that, I'm just like, if they actually created this where people paid for blue check, would the effect still be the same? You know what I'm saying? Would the effect still be the same? Would people hold it the same? Would people view it the same? Because like a lot of people, for some young people, they put like that blue check as cachet. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're verified, it means you're something. Like sometimes people even mistake having a blue check for like, you must be well off, or you must be successful, you must be somewhat prominent, right? And when I saw him, it's just so interesting that the reason why they started putting blue checks against it was just to prevent spam. But now blue check, like spam is just blue people with blue checks and non-blue checks spam the same. So as much as it does show like a genuinity of an account, giving like this is the official account so and so and so and so so and so, it's like where did we start putting that level of cachet to the blue check, right? Because the blue check was not necessarily like you weren't supposed to be like celebrated if you get a blue check. You're not supposed to be praised if you get a blue check. It just means that this is your original account, right? But it's interesting to see that when Elon Musk decided to come in there, all of a sudden they can decide that it can be something that you can pay for. So was it really worth it putting that much cachet in a blue check? To the point where for some people, I know, like I remember my little brother's friend, he was saying this to me. He was like, I want to become a content creator. And his only reason was, I want to get a blue check on all my platforms so I can holler at girls. That's simple as that. He's going to go crazy in the DMs. And I'm like, so like the blue check is the step and I'm not saying like, if you want to do that, hey, Charlie, that's on to you. But the blue check is a step you need. And he's like, yes. I was shocked when he told me this, but he's like, yes, if I'm a blue check and I hit your DMs, it carries some more cachet. But all to say, like, putting so much importance to people just because they're verified, to me, is just a waste of time. Because yes, them being verified, you shouldn't be worried. Like, them being verified is not why it's not that they're verified. It's that you know of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's of their following. So, for example, like, if it's Pat McAfee, I always say, like, I like the way he talks about sports. At the end of the day, it's because I like Pat McAfee that I want to know the genuine Pat McAfee. Not that I give a damn that it's a blue checked account. You know what I'm saying? Or if it's Stephen A. Smith or all these different people, these characters, it's because I know Stephen A. Smith and I'm familiar with him, right? But it's not because there's a blue check next to his profile picture. So just moving forward, just the fact that I can change the switch is such a waste of time. It was such a waste of time to put some level of cachet to people who had blue checks. Like, come on. And someone can change that with a drop of a hat so that it can be purchased. It's just interesting to me. So I thought I'd share with y'all, like, what are y'all thoughts on the Twitter verification? Like, how will you navigate social media or Twitter in a situation, in a world where people just pay for like a subscription? And would you get a subscription? Like, is this something that you would want? And if so, why? Like, is it does it keep up with appearances? Is it because it's something that you made as a goal? Like, why? I just want to hear from y'all, and thought I'd share it before we get out of here. But anyway, I think that is it for me today. I don't think I have much else. Let me see. Yeah. But other than that, let me see. Yeah, I think we're good. It was a fun night. I know I was on a little bit longer than I expected, but that's okay. You know what I mean? Get some background music going. But as always, I wish you perfect health. I wish you perfect wealth. I wish you perfect health. I wish you perfect wealth. I wish you perfect love. And I wish you perfect self-expression. And that in everything you do, that your mind is secure and is growing every single day. That is something I say every time I come on this stream. I hope y'all have a great night. I will be back on Wednesday, 9:30 sharp. Maybe 9:35, as I always say. I'm saying I will get better. The stream is getting better every single day. I will have some interviews coming up. And some, I will have a Discord. I'm creating a Discord so that I can have some chat people come up as we grow and as we build, because I want to hear from y'all. It's not what I'm saying, it's what we all saying, and hopefully we can get better. I'm saying the PYM militia. All we doing is just trying to fight the things that fight light. You know what I'm saying? And when it comes to our mind, and try and grow every single day on it. So y'all have a great night. I will be back on Wednesday. And yeah, man, see y'all. Peace. Have a great evening, guys. And yeah, this was fun. Bye, guys.